Knik 200 has been going on since 1984. It's about 34 years now. We are one of the first races out in the state of Alaska. It's a 200-mile race. It's a qualifier for the Yukon Quest in Iditarod.
We're going to continue right on around the Willow Swamp.
It has a lot of character and a lot of history in it. One of the earlier races compared to a lot of the ongoing 200 and 300-mile races that we have in Alaska.
We're going to make a full loop, 7 miles around the loop. You'll see the runway maybe a quarter-mile away where you can fly.
The race has a lot of history. That's one reason why it's so popular, but we also are lucky enough to attract some very popular and high caliber mushers. A lot of them are Iditarod mushers, some Yukon Quest mushers, sprint racers, and from all over the world. It's also the first main sled dog race of the season, so a lot of even veterans who don't need to qualify for Iditarod enjoy being in the race because they can start getting their dogs ready for the race season.
Anybody wonders whether dogs like to do this or not, just listen to them. They'll tell you all about it.
1 minute. For me, this is more like a training race for we are signed up for the Iditarod this year, so we're just taking it as a training race and see how the trail goes and see how the dogs do.
We've always been unique in trying new technologies out there and integrate that into the racing world.
During the race weekend, every year we get up to 30,000 hits on the website from people all over the world who are really interested in this race. This year we did some live broadcasts at the race start, which I mirrored on our website as well. I integrated the track leaders' tracking software and hardware into the website so that people could watch the racers in real time.
Well, it's something we jumped on right off the start, and you can see the vitalness of it. It's for safety, to know where everybody is.
I want to finish. And my biggest fear is honestly getting lost. Just I had a couple incidents last year that were not great. I got lost in a race and got dumped off my team on the river. So this is actually my first event after that. The trail got blown in and I stopped to fix a glove, and when I did that, the team actually jerked forward and I fell off the back of the sled. So the dogs took off down the river and I was left, and it was about 40 below, 35, 40 below on the river. We didn't have trackers on our sleds, couldn't get a hold of anybody. I happened to actually have cell service. But it was about six and a half hours later before a snow machine found me. And my dogs actually camped at Yetna. They stopped because it's a couple weeks before we had camped there for the Willow 300. And they just happened to stop. There's a bunch of straw and stuff, so they're like, hey, this is a checkpoint.
Dog mushing like fall, and I fell in love with it, and then it just showed me like more of Alaska and the backcountry and stuff like that, and the dogs, I mean, they're just amazing athletes. I have a lot of puppies that this is their first pretty much winter doing all of this, so it's just mainly get them used to it, seeing what it's all about.
Real dogs just jump in the sled and out again. So we're talking about a dog team that is pretty excited. And I'm not sure how many times they'll work in the shoot.
I always keep at least 2 or 3 watches in case it's so cold out. If one dies, you got another one to look at. And so I've been starter and checker for most of the years since Knik 200 started in 1984. So it's usually colder here, 10 to 20 degrees colder here. Trail's pretty good because we got a little bit of snow now. There was no snow at all before. We got some snow and then it got so warm and melted and turned icy and stuff. So this morning it was 10 degrees.
Weather has been a real challenge, especially for us. We had a good winter starting, and then all of a sudden the weather just turned. It got warm, everything started melting. All the snow that we had, maybe a foot worth in Willow, just went to nearly nothing. Everybody was shut down. A lot of dog mushers had to go north to find snow to train on, or they were still on their four-wheelers, which they used in the fall to start with. One year we had the race ready to go, and just within like 2 days of the race, it just went up to the high 50s, melted everything that we had in place, the trail and all, and we had to cancel at the last second. But overall, you know, any race, if nobody got hurt or anything, dogs, everything went well, that's a success.
My responsibility is to make sure that we care for all the dogs that are racing, and this year it was 37 teams with an average of 10 to 12 dogs apiece. This is an athletic event for animals, so we try to prepare for everything. Dog fights, lacerations, sore wrists, sore muscles. If we had an injury, we would do surgery on the table here. Gas anesthesia over here. IV fluids, mobile x-ray units in there. Thankfully, for the 3 years that I've been the lead vet on this race, it's been pretty uneventful.
I feel like that mushing is one of the few sports you can do where women and men are equal, and it really doesn't matter. Like, women can win the Iditarod just as well as men, and here I don't feel like that being a woman is any different.
You know, it actually is very supportive. It really is. It's one of those things that as long as you're not a sissy, you get to compete with the big boys. I mean, Lance Beckie is running this race, which it's amazing. You know, I mean, there's a lot of big teams that are big names, I should say, that are running this race, and it's I'm hoping to learn. That's what I like about the sport, is there's always something to learn.
Good. Like you have to give. I'm going to take the tracker.